Hello. We're going to add the last parts to our autumn garland. If you're just discovering this video, flip back to the one before where we started our autumn garland, and now we're going to just add a little bit with needle felting. So we've got some tiny little pumpkins that we're going to add on, or a tiny little toadstool, or an acorn, or keep it simple and just add yourself a little heart in autumny colours. So these would add on, and I can see my little bits of thread actually hanging off there. You probably can't see them. That was just because they were just attached to my garland a moment ago. But if you want to see the garland, just flip back. So for needle felting, you do need a little bit of specialist equipment, but it's easily found in craft shops, Hobbycraft, the works, in little piles. And what you need is this stuff. And this stuff is called wool roving. And it's soft and it separates really easily like this. So you can see the kind of thing that it is, and it's extremely soft and light at this point. So I have chosen this in some autumny colours. So those are the things. Obviously for our pumpkin we do need to have orange, although pumpkins do come in lots of different sizes, but you can, or colours and sizes for that matter, these are autumny colours that I've chosen. So you do need to have some of this stuff, and it needs to be bought specialist. Now you need a needle felting needle. I bought, since I'm a craft teacher and I have groups of people coming here, I bought a whole section of them like this off the internet, which you can do. And they are just single needles. You won't be able to see this, but there are little barbs all the way up here. A normal needle will not do it, even if it looks like a fat one like this. There are little barbs all the way up, and that's what creates it. So you've got that one, and that's what I'm going to use today. Now you can buy another needle felting needle, which looks like a sort of cotton reel with 5 or 6 of these in the end, and you punch it and it goes up and down. Everybody tells me that those are brilliant and that they work really well, but they're £12, and for a tiny bit of needle felting, it's just too much for me. You can get these for £2, and this is what I'm going to do because I only do little bits of needle felting every so often. But if you have one of those big ones, you can. Otherwise, it's perfectly fine to get one of these. And you need a piece of foam to go into. I've got this bigger piece of foam that I bought in a craft shop, but a washing up sponge will do perfectly well. It's just that you need something to prick into while you're doing that. So we're going to start, and it's pretty easy, but you need a little bit of patience. So what you need to do is you need to get yourself some wool roving off. It's a bit difficult to work out exactly what you're going to need, but let's face it, pumpkins are all different sizes, so, you know, bigger, smaller, whatever. So you get it like this, and then you can vaguely put it into the shape that you want. So we want a vague circular kind of shape for a pumpkin. So I'm just going to squash it together like that, just vaguely into there, and then I'm going to put it down onto my mat. And then I'm going to get my needle and I'm going to prick with it. Okay, and I'm just going to go like this. Stab, 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 stab. Now at this point you're going to think you're doing nothing. This is all I'm doing, I'm just stabbing it. What's it doing? It's doing nothing. And you're just going to carry on. Now the most important thing you have to do, and this is the biggest thing to learn, is not to go, because it really hurts. Believe me, I'm talking from experience, it really hurts. These are sharp needles, do not get your other hand in the way. Don't get distracted, look over for a cup of tea and stab yourself. Don't do it. When I was teaching my children last year, I told them not to do it, and not one of the children in the class did it. I did it when I was watching them. But it does hurt. I mean, you're not going to die, but it hurts. Keep going like that for a while. You can see that you've got, if I pick that one up, little holes all over it. Don't worry about that, okay? Don't worry. Everybody always says, oh, I can see holes on it. I've got all this. Don't worry. Just keep going. Once you've stabbed, 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 turn it over, peel it off, turn it over, stab, stab, stab again on the other side. Now it's gone flat and I don't want the pumpkin like that. So I'm now going to just gather it back up again, and I'm going to have to be careful here and keep my eyes down so that my fingers are not in the way. And just get it all together. Sometimes you need to stab along the edges to bring it in. Now keep going like that and keep peeling it off, because it does get stuck on there. Keep peeling it off, and after a while you'll realise it's gone hard. This one's doing it already and it's gone hard, and then you can shape it and you can turn it around like this in your hand until you get the shape you want. You can then put it back on your mat to try to stab it round a little bit more, but it becomes easier and easier as it goes along. And then sooner or later you've got yourself with a thicker one like this. It's quite flat, this one, because I thought I'd just experiment with a different type of pumpkin, you know, those other squash type things. That was a little rounder one like that. You just need to experiment a little bit with that. If you're going to make a giant pumpkin, it's going to take ages, but it's exactly the same idea. To add our green lines on, this is the bit that I like better in needle felting than that first bit. You just need to pull off a really small amount like that, and it pulls off really easily. You can, if you want, use scissors to snip it if you want particular things, but it actually pulls reasonably well. And then you just get it on. So you're just going to lay it on like that in its stripes. Now this is what I did with that, and you could have done that with red, or you could have done that with yellow as well. You could have done the whole pumpkin yellow with orange lines, absolutely any way you like, and you're just going to put that on. If you look at the bottom, you can see that I've gone all the way around and back up like that. And then I'm just going to stab into it, and this time, oh, I could do with not doing it on the table actually. This time it only takes a couple of seconds for it to stick to the other side. So this time it's just very quickly sticking, and when I've got back round I'm going to cut off that bit at the top. Fingers out of the way. I'm glad I'm not going to do this. I'm speaking too soon, but I don't want to end up hurting myself on the video, filmed forevermore. So that's only taken a second to get that stuck on. And that's what you keep doing. So when you get to the decorating stage, you just add those bits on, little bobble on the top, and you've got yourself a pumpkin. When you're making the acorn, you just keep doing the same thing with this to make, oh, that one's coming off, and that's good because I can show you how to put it on in a minute. That's because I just pulled it off my garland. You make a little green circle like that. So I've made a slightly more naturalistic one. Then you get just a tiny bit of the brown that you've pulled off, and then I've just circled it around in my fingers to make a sort of vague cap shape. Put it on top and stab through. Now you have to be very careful now because it's much smaller and you want to make sure your fingers are out of the way. So you keep going just a little bit like that, and then it will end up stuck to it. Get a teeny bit and just roll it together for the top of the acorn. You pop it on like that and just gently, carefully stab through a couple of times. And I say it's quite easy then to get it to stick on. Just do a little bit of sort of firm pushing, and then it ends up stuck. And it looks like your little cap, like that. Now if you're going to make a toadstool, you're going to do the top in red and the bottom in brown, or whatever colours you want, like that. So I've done that exactly the same way there. And then again, to join one to the other, decide which one you want as your top. I think that one looks slightly better. Put it down, hold that underneath, and again just stab through. Have you got the hang of it now? You're just stabbing, that's all you're doing. Keep stabbing it through all the way around, and they adhere to each other in this magic way. You just need some patience because I say at the beginning it does feel as if you're not doing anything, but then sooner or later it will do it and stick together. So that's now attached firmly, okay? And if you want to put the white spots on, again, you just need very tiny bits of the white. So you might want to use the scissors to cut it off like that, and then roll it around, make ourselves a little dot. And obviously you get all types of mushrooms, you know, those things that say don't eat this one, it's totally poisonous, do eat this one, it's not poisonous, and they both look exactly the same. But we're not eating any of these, so we're all right. Put yourself your little dot on like that. Can you guess what to do? Give it a stab. And there it is, already adhered. So that's what you get. The only other type that you can do is you get yourself a cookie cutter like this, pop it onto your surface, get a bigger wodge of your colour and stick it inside. Rearrange it inside there. then stab. And that will give you a different shape. So if you're going for less naturalistic shapes like these ones, stab, 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 you will end up with a heart. And that one's quite a bit thicker actually, because I decided to do that. So you've ended up turning what's quite soft wool into something that's quite thick. You can go crazy and make yourself a whole cat. I had lots of fun with this one, doing the markings and the stripes to represent Nick. You might recognise him coming on side from the video a few weeks ago. But you carry on with that and you could end up with a whole big thing like that, or for your autumn garland, tiny things. I used a normal needle and thread to just put a little bit of cotton through that and add that. So as I say, it's a little bit different to our normal videos because you do need some specialist equipment for this. You aren't going to have wool roving and a special needle around, but there are kits around for £2 at the moment, and there are loads of different coloured wools that you can get both on the internet and in craft shops. And with a little bit of patience and some stabbing and ever so much careful care with your other hand so that you don't accidentally do that, you can add a few extra things to your lovely autumn garland. And that will be the last of our autumn things before we hop over into Christmas. If you want to find out anything more about me, check out my Facebook page, Felicity Crafts, and that will tell you all you need to know. See you soon. Bye.